What's up? Welcome back, everybody. Today we're working on making a video editor to solve a very specific problem to me, and maybe only me. But okay, so I'm streaming, I'm uploading VODs to YouTube, trying to split the difference between the two. And long term, I think that's like not a good strategy, right? Right now, we're kind of fucking around, we're streaming, we're having fun, but like a stretch goal for this project, the streaming project in general, is that it would be nice if it took off and I didn't have to go back to work, right? Because this is more fun. The strategy of trying to make something that fits both YouTube and Twitch in the same format is like wrong. That's not how what I should be doing is I should be making like YouTube videos. Maybe they can come out of Twitch VODs, but the Twitch, like, I should be streaming longer on Twitch than is reasonable to put in a YouTube video. And when I watch other streamers' content, not necessarily like programming content, but other similar content, like maybe I'll watch like music production streams or like speedrunning streams or whatever. Like a common theme I see is that I'll watch like 20-minute cut downs of a longer thing, and that provides like a lot of things, right? Like it like takes off pressure for me to finish like one thing in one sitting. I can cut it down over multiple days. I can maybe tell like a story along with that stuff. It just like opens up a lot of doors. And so I was like experimenting with that recently, where I like tried to take a VOD and cut it down, and I was like, holy shit! Like for me, maybe I'm just like shit at video editing, right? But like cutting it down would have just taken longer than actually creating the content in the first place, right? Like, I think that to cut down a 2-hour video, it would have taken at least 4 hours, probably more. I don't want to do that every day. But, you know, we're in the world where we get to be like make whatever the fuck we want to solve whatever problems we want. We work in software. There's infinite possibilities. And so what I'm thinking is it would be kind of nice to have a video editor that like facilitates that process. Specifically, I think that scrubbing through video and trying to identify what was going on at any point is like a bad way of doing things. If I could have a script of what was doing things linked to video playback, so I could maybe like select chunks of text and say, this I think is important. I want this to be part of the video. And then just like do that a bunch of times, maybe add some buttons to like cut out dead space where you have like, you know, dips in audio because I thought like it was going like a fucking idiot. Maybe we cut those out automatically, and then maybe we're sitting pretty. Maybe it'll be a lot faster. Maybe not, and maybe it's not worth it, but we'll see. So the plan is I want to take a video, rip it through OpenAI Whisper to generate subtitles with timestamps. I want to take a video, decode it with ffmpeg, and like display it in some sort of UI along with this like the script. And then I want to be able to like select chunks of text in the script, turn those into like clip segments, and then maybe like have some like slider bars to kind of like adjust. Maybe I want some like lead in, maybe I want to trim it a little bit. Maybe the timestamps aren't like perfect, whatever. Then I want to be able to hit play and see the results of that in real time. So, plan is OpenAI Whisper for subtitles, ffmpeg for decoding, opengl for taking the video and shoving it on the screen, and then like some form of like record, like that needs to get like exported into a video of some form. Ideally with like minimal transcoding, right? Because it would be nice to be able to just like bang it out, right? So we'll see. I've got a little UI mock-up here that I drew out. Here's me. I'm sitting right here. Okay, this is the VOD, right? So I'm here. Here's like the little to-do. Here's my terminal. And then here's like where I'm imagining like a script on the right here and then a timeline at the bottom. Maybe I'll like draw some like audio graph down here. Who knows? We'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. So I think for today, the goal is to get something rendered from ffmpeg. So pull up like, get a window with OpenGL, get something into the OpenGL context, and then try to decode some video with ffmpeg and try to get that frame in the OpenGL context. Not sure if we'll get all the way there, but we'll see how it goes. So, nothing in here right now. I think we're gonna keep going in Zig for now, Rust/Zig. Yeah, so I think I'm having fun in Zig for the time being. So I think probably I'm going to try to drive the app in Zig. I was looking around at like GUI frameworks and stuff, and I don't really like any option that much. So I think probably what I'll do is I'll probably just continue to use eGUI in Rust, and I'll probably make like a little C binding to just like get data in and out of the GUI. But we'll see. That's a plan. That's I have to think about that a little more, and that's a plan for tomorrow or for the future. You know, where was I? All right. So today, let's just start by getting a little bit of an OpenGL window that we can render some frames into. GLFW, I think, is window initialization library. So let's start there. Step by step. Okay. So let's maybe, I guess we need like an environment to work in. So let's start with our Zig environment from the QR code stuff. And get a little Zig compiler action going. Actually, we are going to need GLFW for sure. We probably don't need like HTTP stuff. The rest of this looks fine. Okay. Let's get moving. He's got to think a little bit. I should find out someday what he's doing in there, because it seems like if all of the stuff is like already there, all of the like dependencies that I have, they're already downloaded, then I don't really know if I like, yeah, I don't know. There's nuclear, which is written in C, which would be easy to use from Zig. I was looking at that. I don't know if I want to invest the time to learn it. That's the only thing, right? Because like my gut says that most immediate mode GUIs are not worth learning heavily. Like, I don't think I would ever make a nuclear production app. So it feels like kind of a waste. Maybe I only need one. The ability to like be able to, like, if I were to use something in production, I would probably just use Qt or WX widgets, right? Like something like that the real world has battle tested for me. And so using the strategy of making C bindings to a language like C++ or Rust, like whatever language I want to use, like abstracting that away behind a C API is like kind of like a pattern I want to get familiar with anyways. You know what I mean? So I'm not too worried about it. Okay. Let's start. Hold on. Okay. GLFW. Let's get a window. And this is kind of like scratch code because tomorrow we might not be on the same thing, but let's just get something. So let's get some C bindings. We'll C import, and then we will C include GLFW. Is it capitals, lowercase? GLFW in caps, and then GLFW3.h like this. They are also using GLAD, which I think is reasonable. So you can also do like C include what GL.h. So OpenGL, massive pain in the ass to get moving with. Massive. Because this, okay, so I don't actually have GL right now, but I should get it. So let's exit this, mgm shell nix, add libgl here. And it's like, you would think that if you're like, I have libgl and I have a GL header, that you would be able to like include the header and then just start using OpenGL. But that header is for like old OpenGL, kind of. Like, it's like compatibility mode, I think is what they call it. And so what it gives you is it gives you these like APIs to query functions by name. And so you can be like, hey, I want to create a shader. OpenGL, could you tell me if you have a GL create shader function? He'll be like, let me go check that for you. And the reason that he doesn't know is because when I compile against like libgl, if I like include this guy, he's dispatching, I think, to like, I think it's called GLVND. Yeah, GL vendor neutral dispatch library. So like you call into this like libgl flashbang. Sorry. sorry. And he might be like NVIDIA or AMD or like Mesa, right? It could be like any implementation of these guys. And this guy just kind of like symlinks to one of these guys, depending on like who is around. Oh, it might also just be OpenGL directly. Sure. I'm not really sure. My understanding is that like this guy goes like this. And so like when you link against this guy, you don't really know what implementation you're gonna get, and you don't want to like compile for every single option of like which card is available and stuff. And so like what they do is they say, hey, we're gonna give you a way to query what functions are available for this, and then we'll fucking figure it out. You can figure it out. And so then people start writing these like extension wranglers or something. OpenGL. And so like these guys take like your OpenGL API and they say, this isn't the one I want. There's a newer one. They say like, hey, we will probe all that shit for you and then just provide them as normal functions, and we'll like fail out in some way if you don't exist. But like you will have like some sort of list of things that you expect to be there, and then we'll just like, we'll find them for you. So let's do OpenGL. I don't know. I see 3.3 in examples a lot. I don't really know OpenGL that well, so we'll just yoink whatever I see often. Core profile versus compatibility seems reasonable to me for now. And generate a loader, omit KHR, local files. Sure, it doesn't fucking matter. So give me some bindings, baby. All right. So now I'm going to be using gladgl.h, and we will extract that thing to here. Okay. And then we'll make a function main. He needs to return void. And let's just try to get anything happening. Well, I guess we should start with like hello world, right? Am I like, do I know how to compile? Maybe I don't. Const std equals import std. Let's just see. Zig run main zig. Okay. Main is not marked pub. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's get something. Okay, we have hello world. Now let's try to do their simple getting started. So if we can't initialize our windowing system, give the fuck up. So this is going to be under C, and we'll say return error initialization. And maybe we'll log in right here too. Failed to init glfw. And I think you need to say, hey, I have no arguments to pass to this string. He's going to say, hey, where the fuck is glad? So I need to say include glad, include. And he says libc header is not available. Gladgl.h not found. Glad include. Oh, it's glad.h. This. GLFW not included, so I think we L GLFW. Nice. Okay, we're farther. Expected type bool, found C int, so what does this guy return? Can I not jump to definition here? Here we go. GLFW init. He returns an int. Does he say return GLFW true and false? Okay, so if this is equal to C GLFW false, then we fail. Otherwise, we're chilling. Segfault at address 0. I think I've seen this happen if we don't link libc. So I think that like GLFW is assuming that functions from libc are available and Zig just doesn't provide them. And for some reason, the linker doesn't get angry at that. I'm not really quite sure why that is. But I've just like learned to see that one. When you are done, GLFW terminate. So defer. GLFW terminate. Do we still build? We still build. We're chilling. Chilling. Setting an error callback. So when the bad shit happens, we want to see them logged. So seems reasonable to me. Our error callback is going to take an error, which is going to be a C int, and a description, which is going to be a, I think it's Sentinel terminated const u8, I think. And then we have to say, hey, could you use the C calling convention? Because we're going to be passing you to some fucking C function. And then we will say stood log error GL left W error, and we will say the error is some string that they provided us. Okay. Yeah, looks good. Looks good. He's angry about something here. Where does he think that there should be a comma? Oh, this should say function. Yeah, and then maybe we'll say even, hey, it's a number. And there. Yeah. Like this. Nice. Nice. Oops, I need to say, hey, could we put that into GLFW, please? Like this. Error callback. Boom. And then presumably this guy's gonna fail in some way. GLFW set error callback. So he returns. Oh, this is the function. He returns an error function that previously set callback or null. So it looks like this can't error out. So we don't have to worry about it. We can just ignore the return. Just ignore it. Who fucking cares? Oops. Okay. Description, constuate, not allowed in function with calling convention C. So what is this supposed to be? I guess like a C, like a pointer to a constuate. Expected this, found this. Okay, I don't know what this is. They're saying like this is a pointer to an array, and it's like a C pointer. I don't know what this like star C syntax is. I've never seen this before. But he does allow that. So what is like zig pointers? Like what are my options here? This isn't what I want. C pointer for interop. But like what are the semantics of it? Why is it different than just the slice pointer? See, like what's the difference between the C version and this version? Is there like a star C in here anywhere? Open break, star C, close break. Okay. Changing star T pointers to Lisp are for improved type safety. Okay, where is this star C? Okay, here we go. C pointers. This type is to be avoided whenever possible. The only valid reason for using a C pointer is an auto-generated code from translating C code. When importing C header files, it is ambiguous whether or not pointers should be translated to single item pointers or many item pointers. C pointers are a compromise that Zig code can utilize translated header files directly. I see. So can I coerce this if I take this by slice pointer? Does that like still work? If I just do this, does it figure it out? No. So probably what I'm supposed to do here is like immediately coerce it. Like I guess you're supposed to say, well, look for the null. I would use star :0 constuate. This will work for most null terminated strings. So you're saying that like, hey, you're null terminated, but you're also a many element pointer. But he's not allowing that either. So I think that he's like, because we are passing this function to a C library, I think that probably we have to use this star C version of the pointer, and then we should like immediately convert it to the other kind. So we could do like description C, and then we could do like const description is this, and we can pointer cast, or probably not pointer cast. Oh yeah, pointer cast. Not sure. You might have to like look for the sentinel. No, he's okay with that. Okay. So, not entirely sure there. Not entirely sure there. I'm just gonna leave it like this, and we'll see if this like falls over. It looks like the error log is like allowing it, so I'll just leave it as is. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. Creating window. All right. We will make a window. So const window is this. These nulls are lowercase, like this, and sometimes the window may be null. So we can say if window, I guess we can just do an or else here, and say std log error failed to create glfw window. And we have to maybe even say that we have no arguments to print, and then return error and error initialization. There we go. And then I guess for now we will just do nothing with the window. And we'll run it, and we'll just make sure that everything's happy. Okay, cool. Maybe at the end of this we should do like a std debug print hi, just to make sure that we make it to the end. We're not like crashing early and not noticing. Like this. Boom. It says hello. Or it says hi, I guess. And so we're happy. We're happy. Okay. We can say that we want core profile, whatever. I don't give a shit. I don't really know what's going to happen there, but we'll find out. We need to free the window. So what was it? glfw destroy window. All right, destuck file. Boom, cool. And now we say, hey, we are going to use this window now. And could we initialize all of the OpenGL extensions given this function that, like, glfw, I guess, is like making a window, and he has an OpenGL context available, and we have to like give that context to the loader who's loading all the extensions so that he knows where to look up functions from, I guess. So it's like c glfw make context current from the window, and can this fail? glfw make context current. So this is a void function, so we're chilling. I'm going to leave this open on the right so that we can see it all the time. And then what was the other thing we were going to do after? We were going to glad load gl. So, and this comes from c glfw get proc address. Can this fail? My indexer doesn't know where glad is because I'm just running zig on the command line. So I think we're gonna I think I'm gonna upgrade to build.zig. I think it's time. I thought that we could like avoid it initially, but I think it's worth. So we'll shove this in here, and then mvim build zig. And I guess if we just type zig build, he'll probably tell us what's wrong. Has no member named build, so I think it's a pub function build who takes in a b of std build, like this, I think is how this works usually. And then we have to say const std is equal to import std. And so now this will say, hey, unused function parameter. Okay, and then let's look at zig build system. They will give us a little bit of an example. Boom. Sure, close enough. If I remember correctly, there's like standard, target, options, and target is this, and const opt is equal to b standard optimization option. Guess a signature for confidence, then copy anyways. Yeah. Oops. Then we have what are like, what are we gonna call this? Video editor. He comes from source main zig. His target is target, and I think we have to just set opt. Where does optimization come from? Optimize here. There we go. Zig build. Expected one argument. Standard optimize options. Bro. What a name. Preferred optimize mode. I don't care. So we'll just empty it out. And the target options, I guess, is probably the same. We'll probably don't give a fuck. Okay, and now he's gonna say, hey, we need to link libc. We need to link system library glfw and gl, and add c source file, which is in source glad source glad. So b relative path glad source glad.c, And we're gonna add include path of glad include. Okay. Which has to be relative to the build root. Oopsies. Zig build. Are we good? Not quite. Expected C source file found lazy path. So this is probably like C source file. We chilling now? Zig build? Almost. Glad load GL expected 0 arguments found 1. So that's not what we see in our GLFW example. What's going on there? Can I... Oh, fuck. Export path is this path so that the ZLS for y'all Americans. I've like the system one I have installed is a version too early, so I have to manually specify. But now if I jump to... Are we chilling? Oh yeah, here we go. Glad load GL. Yeah, so why... Is this not supposed to take in a function? I could just be on like a different version of Glad than they're using. So maybe we'll just do this for now. Where is this? This is in include Glad. Yeah, so load GL. Oh, I can say, hey, I can use it with this loader. So I can say loader here. Yeah. Who takes in a glad load proc, which takes in a optional pointer. Oh my god. Fucking types, man. Look at this. Expected type function pointer. Oh, do I have to put an ampersand here then? No. Expected type optional pointer to a function that takes in a constituate C pointer. Found something, a function pointer to something that takes in a constituate pointer and returns. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll say he is one of these guys equal to this, and then pass in P, and then I think that the typecasting will sort out the like optional bullshit. No, still not happy there. So expected type this, found type that. Okay, so let's just try the this other version, and then we'll find out that we fucked up in some way later. Okay, so this guy's going to return an integer. He doesn't have documents on what that is, but I think we can probably assume that it's true or false. No. Glad load GL. What's going on here? Maybe we could read... Where did we get to hear from? Glad. Maybe these guys will tell us. Oh, here he's saying that we're supposed to cast this thing. Can we do like just hard casting in Zig like this? And then he's kind of saying if it's 0, then it's an error. So we'll just start here. We'll say if this is equal to 0, stood log error failed to init glad. And then we'll return. And then we need this high to be at the very bottom. Okay. Zig build. Do we compile? That's a good sign. And run this thing. Okay, we get to the end. So maybe we'll leave it like this. I don't really... Well, we could look at glad.c and look at the difference between the implementations. So now I'm just kind of curious. So he feeds in get proc. And this comes from Oh, so he's probably just doing it already, right? He's saying like, hey, probably GLFW is setting the address somewhere, and then we can like retrieve it out. It would be interesting to confirm that, but I think it's fine. You can create a new step that depends on build, and they say zig build run. Yeah, I think that like I was looking at those and they seem it's like it feels like it's just adding noise to the build script. Like it's just like a lot of extra code in there for like what feels like no reason, right? Like, is it really hard to type an executable? Like, I don't know. I don't know why I would need it. If it came for free, then I would use it. But like the fact that I have to like put it in the build script as a step, it's like, I don't know. It's not worth it to me. Okay. We have spent half an hour and we don't have anything yet. So let's try to get moving. Okay, so while the window should not close, window should close. We pass in the window. Pass in the window. And while this is equal to window should close. This returns the value of the close flag. Okay. Set window should close. And we just set a value. So probably it looks like they're using not here, so we can probably just hardcode 0 here. That's fine. While it's not equal to 0, no. Yes. Well, it's not equal to 0. We do nothing. And so now if we run this, I was expecting to see, oh, sorry, this is equals 0, not equals. We should see a window. Yeah, okay, cool. The docs are below the function definition in glfw.h, not above. Is that true? Should close. No, I think that this is just for the next function. I think they are above. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. Checks the close flag. GLF should close. Yeah, it's just the one below is set, and so that's why I was scrolling down. Okay, so we have a window. Hell yeah. Okay, let's ignore input for now. I don't really give a fuck. Rendering with opengl. So what is this example doing? He's vertex shader, fragment shader program, cool. He's got some uniforms and a vertex array, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Let's get crazy. I'm usually somewhat against these AI tools, but they are good for if you're fucking lost and you want something that's well documented on the internet, you can sure get them to generate that code for you. So could you generate me an opengl example that renders a triangle with fixed chords hard coded directly into the vertex shader? What year was I born? We'll lie. We'll use the same lie I've used since I was a lad. I was born here. Just here to say Russ better. We've been there. Yeah, okay. So he embeds the vertices here and uses vertex ID. Okay. And then to create the shader, we say, this is all going to be the same. I don't need these buffers. He's an idiot. But this is really the code that I was trying to copy paste because I forget this part all the time. Okay. Okay. So we have our vertex shader source is equal to this. And then we say, hey, we are a zig string. Boom, boom. Traditional thing in C++ is that 0 is false, everything else is true. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's correct. Pretty sure. Vert shader source, and then we can go back to this example, which I trust way fucking more for like the how do we compile and link a shader. Boom. So shader is from C, GL create shader, C vertex shader. We create the shader source from the vert shader source with null in lowercase, and we compile the shader. And are these guys failable? I think, well, what's he complaining about first? He is saying, hey, I expected C pointers and I got this shit. Okay, so this will say that this is a C pointer, so that when we ampersand it, the types figure themselves out. Nice, okay. And now let's check if we need to worry about failure here. So what are the functions we're looking at? GL shader source. Oh, this is not helpful. GL shader source. Can you fail? Void return. Okay. Oh, but in OpenGL, I think I have to, yeah, you have to just check GL error every time. Okay, we'll just hope for the fucking best, I guess. We'll come back if there's problems. But for now, we'll just kind of hope that we get it right the first time. We never do with OpenGL stuff. But we can just hope to God, and maybe, you know? So we compile the fragment shader, which means that we need a fragment shader, which is going to look very similar. Recent versions of OpenGL has an error callback. Much easier to check than GL get error after everything. Okay, I think that means that I have to use something newer. I think that I need to use, like, when is that? 4 something? GL error callback. Debug message callback, it's this one, right? OpenGL 4.3. So I could just upgrade to 4.3 instead of working on 3.3. I will do this if we start to run into problems. But for now, we live with what the choices that we've made, you know? What's our fragment shader look like? Sure. I don't really give a shit. So this is, we have in, color, out, fragment, and instead we'll just go straight out fragment. We don't have any input colors, and we'll just make the triangle red or something. And then we convert these to zig multi-line string, so delete, 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 boom, 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 and I think we're done. Boom, boom. Okay. And so now we have a fragment shader and a vertex shader, and we need to show the two together. 4.3 or the GL KHR debug extension. The extension will only impose requirements on the driver, not on the hardware, and so it's supported almost everywhere. Oh, sick. Okay. Nice. Noise still requires a glad reset, I think, right? If we want to pull in the extension, we would have to go back here and look for GL KHR debug. But I mean, at that point, we might as well just hit 4.4, right? Like, why the fuck not? But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it'll just work, and we won't have to do it. Okay. So while the window should not close, they say, hey, let's set the viewport size to match the window size. Okay. So we'll say var width is a C int and height is a C int. What does glad do if it can't find a requested function? Hard fail. In that case, requesting the extension sounds much better. I would assume hard fail, but I don't actually know. We could check, maybe. Glad.c. So, like, what happens if he, like, doesn't have this guy? He will be null, and then in glad.h, it looks like when we call this function, it's just a define to this thing. So yeah, it'll just segfault. So I guess we could probably check for null ourselves on an extension before using it. It looks like. Which isn't that bad. That's essentially the same as checking for it, I guess. Or requesting extension manually. He just does it for us. All right, so we want to get frame buffer size given the window, the width, and the height. And can this fail? Nope. And then we say, can we set the viewport to go from 0, 0 to the width and the height? Is that the right order? Yep. Good enough for me. Then we probably want to like probably clear. They're certainly gonna call clear. Yep. And with the color, we're gonna say, hey, could you clear the color buffer? Is it color buffer bit? Yep. And I guess for now, let's set the clear color to something. I guess we'll set it to blue. So it's probably RG, or we'll set RGBA. So say, hey, could you clear with blue? And then at the end of this, we have to swap buffers. Swap buffers. This is because GLW is double buffered. Only if we told it to be. Did we do that part? I don't think we did. I think up here they say, hey, we can either run as fucking fast as you want, or we can vsync. And we can vsync. Fuck it. And I don't think we did this yet. Yeah, we didn't. And so this has to come somewhere, I think, after glad load GL. So we just slap this guy here. And let's just see what we get. So if we're in an okay-ish state, we should get to the point where we clear... We have like a blue window, essentially. Okay, good sign, good sign, good sign. We didn't ever finish compiling our OpenGL program. So let's do that. So here they say, hey, I want a program. And I want to attach my vertex shader and my fragment shader, and then I want to link the program. And then probably we need to like clean up fragment and vertex shaders. Actually, there's just a lot of cleanup that we're not doing it now. And so fuck it. You know? And then in here, we want to run our program. So in our example, oh fuck, I lost his example. Could you generate me an example of an OpenGL app that hard codes vertex positions for a triangle in its vertex shader? I think it's just draw arrays, and then you just specify that you want to draw 3 vertices, but I want to see the AI tell me, because I'm too fucking lazy. GLU's program, yeah, this is what I was looking for. And it does look like there's nothing else, according to AI, but AI is kind of fucking stupid, so good chance this doesn't work. Okay, let's see what happens. Nothing. Okay, so where are our options? We didn't use the program, which is a real likely candidate here. Still nothing. Okay. So now we have to start getting a little excited. And we actually have to debug. So let's regenerate our glad headers with version 4.4, just because simpler that way. I'm assuming that I support it. We would probably lose some compatibility with something by doing it that way, but I don't give a fuck because this is a program for me. So who fucking cares? So let's do this. Zig build. Okay, we're still chilling. I'm concerned that it felt like it didn't rebuild anything there. Maybe it just didn't say anything. That felt a little bit sketchy to me. It felt too fast, but maybe it's just a fast compiler. Who knows? Okay, so what's that like debug callback? Here we go. So we set our debug callback here. Boom, boom, boom. This is a function debug or GL debug callback. And this is just we append C in front of all these types. Yep. then we return void, and we have to say, hey, could you use the C calling convention, please? And all of these guys need to have their like arguments swapped with the type. So this is source, boom, 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 and probably you can automate this by going like this. Yep, nice. That one fucked up because multiple words. You can only get so far with Vim macros. Pointer has to go on the other side in this language. And I think cvoid doesn't exist. There's probably any opaque in this language. And why doesn't it like this const here? What isn't it like? Expected type expression found const. Am I high? What am I missing here? Why is all of this stuff like weirdly colored too? Like, am I? Yeah, this doesn't feel right. Oh, it's probably because I wrote the word type and it's a reserved keyword. So that's part of it. Does the const go on the left here? No, the const goes on the right. I don't understand what the error is here. If I take that out, is it fine? Expected type expression found const. Oh. Oh, I'm an idiot. This is just, like, whatever the fuck I did here is wrong. So this is const void user param. Yeah, I just didn't finish. User param. There we go. And this goes here. Jeez. Okay, there we go. Then this was const as well. And probably these are C pointers. And we'll do something like stood log error. Let's just log the message for now and just see if we get anything out of that. I don't fucking know. And boom, boom. Okay. One more. Boom. So now, before we do anything, we should be able to say like cgl debug message callback. And we should be able to just pass in gl debug callback. Something like that. Expect 2 arguments. User param. So user param is void. We don't give a fuck. C pointers cannot point to opaque types, so do I need to write const void here instead? Probably. C pointers cannot point to non-C ABI compatible type void. Is it like this? Yeah, no. Oh, it's a question mark. We're close. Expected type this, found type this. It looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Const U8, and then const any opaque. Expected call conf C. Oh, we didn't have call conf C. Of course. Kind of surprised user param is const. Yeah, but I'm not gonna complain too hard. Not gonna complain too hard. Because I guess they're kind of saying, like, when you're logging... Yeah, it does seem kind of surprising, I guess. Right, because you would think that, like, maybe your log is pushing into some buffer, which requires some struct that has some sort of, like, pointer in it that's, like, maybe not opaque. Maybe. I could, like, see the argument. No errors still, though. That's not good. Not good at all. Let's, like, put, like, some, like, atrocious compile error in our shader, and we still get nothing. So, why is this not doing anything? First, let's just do something a little more simple, and we'll say stood debug print error happened. And then can we say like this equal to error and this equal to description? Yeah. So the fragment shader only runs for generated fragments, but like I would think that like if I'm like inserting like a gross compilation error, shouldn't this fail? And shouldn't I get like something showing up in my error callback? I don't think I've generated any geometry yet. I have vertices in here. Oh, like this goes away. I think that was wrong. But like again, it's just like why the fuck am I not getting error messages? No, it's when the geo is in use remotely, blah blah blah. Each time a debug message is generated, this happens. GL debug message callback shader not running. It's just, how do I use it? Make the context current, set the callback. Yeah. That seems like all that it should be. So he is saying, hey, I make the context current. I mean, this isn't in C, but why is it not happening? GL enable. GL enable. C GL enable. Probably this comes after setting this callback. C GL debug output. Let's try that. I guess in this example they did it before, but I would think that there's a race condition here a little bit, but I guess maybe since it's all single threaded, it doesn't fucking matter. There we go. Okay, okay. Use program 3 not linked, and we are nice error, baby. Love seeing errors. So here we go like this. Get rid of that syntax error. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so the problem was that the vertex shader was splitting out something that it shouldn't have. Like here, where was it? Here the example we copy pasted was setting the colors as part of the API, and then I deleted that, so the fragment shader was going like, hey, you gave me a color, but I'm not expecting any colors. What the fuck is wrong with you? Shut the fuck up. Like, get away from me, right? And so then it didn't compile, didn't link, and we didn't have any error reporting, so we didn't see that. But we're chilling. Hello, Triangle. 52 fucking minutes. Every fucking time, man. Every time. Oh, I feel like it's like nice once you have like the scaffolding, like working with OpenGL is, I shouldn't say great, but I don't know if there's a better alternative. But man, getting set up is such a pain in the ass. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to do was I wanted to try shoving a image into there, because if we're working on like decoding frames with ffmpeg and then immediately showing them in our OpenGL UI, it's like that's gonna be more difficult if we have to debug both the decoding and the presentation at the same time, if that makes sense. Use Raylib, it's amazing. It feels to me, from when I've looked at it, which is like, this is like crazy for me to say, like it feels like too much of a toy, if that makes sense. Like maybe that's like an unfair evaluation of it. But like it seems to me like it tries to make things too easy, and that could get in the way. You know what I mean? Which is like great for people, like for when you need it and when you're getting started, but like I like having the control, if that makes sense. And I like there's this like stupid little fucking worm in my brain too, and he says like, hey, how hard can it be? Right? You shouldn't need to take on this dependency of Raylib just to show a triangle on the screen. You're not fucking stupid. You can do it yourself. And then I try, and then I like struggle, and then I'm like, fuck, my life is so hard. And I'm like, I should just use the thing that made it easy. But then like, you know, I think I'm wrong, basically. Okay. Let's get an image in here. Oopsies, I wrong time. 54:27. Okay. Let's get status, get add, glad, and source. And build, and shell. And we should make a get ignore that removes zig out in zig cache. And we segfault to it, so core generated, so we'll just ditch that shit. And git commit -m whip initial commit. All right. Now we are in a state that we can fall back to when we really fuck up. Okay. What is next? What is next? Image. So we need to get an image. stb image. Let's load an image from the disk. Boom. This guy. This guy. And we save page as video editor, source, stb image. And we learned last time that we should do stb, we should make an stb image impl.c because using zig and importing the implementation just raw is like too hard for him. So here we say define this, boom. Okay. And then in our build script, we say add a C source file to source stb image impl and add an include path to source. And then in our main, we should be able to add to our C stuff a stb image h. And then we should be able to somewhere load an image. So maybe we'll do something like image path is stood const args is equal to stood process args alloc with an allocator, which means that we need an allocator. So we'll say const GPA is equal to stood heap global general purpose allocator. We don't really give a shit about the parameters. We need to instantiate it. At the end of all this, we say, hey, could we get the fuck out of here? And then we say const alloc is the GPA's allocator. We create our arguments, and then we say const if args len is less than 2, stood log error, no file image path given. And then we'll continue on and say const image path is equal to args 1. Yep. And then at the end of this, we have to defer args deinit, alloc free args. No. Stood process args free. Alloc and I think that's it. No. Args free, the args. So I don't like about header only libraries. They still require you to define the implementation, and it's like, why not just pull in .c's? Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's nice to I like agree to some extent. It's fucking stupid to always include this massive header file and then stub out half of it with the preprocessor. Like, you really do want a split CNH anyways. But updating becomes very trivial, which is nice. Like, having a bundled thing. It's like kind of stupid, kind of nice. I do appreciate, I find it easier to pull in a header only library personally than something more advanced. But I did opt to not use the header only version of Glad, so I don't know, maybe I'm fucking talking on my ass. Okay. So C stbi load from file. No. stbi load. Here. Okay. So we have var width is a C int. This is gonna get kind of nasty. Having everything in one namespace where I'm gonna have like fucking compilation or like name collision. So let's just say we have an image and he's a struct and he's not gonna do anything crazy right now. He's just gonna have a width and a height and some data, which is gonna come for, maybe it's constant. Sure, fuck it. Fuck it, and pub function init, and he takes in a file path. And he returns an image. And then he does this. So we have const width. No, var width is a C int. Undefined. Can you, in this language, do like height like this? No, you have to do copy it. Okay, so we're saying, hey, we have some data. And should return if there's an image path. Good eye. I agree with whoever's saying that header-only libraries are overall slower. I'm pretty sure. Even if you didn't define STB implementation, just parsing the larger file is still going to be more. I'm pretty sure. Like, even if it's, like, insignificant, I think it's technically worse. Let's start with a black and white image. And then we will return here. We need to specify width, height, and non-channels here. And here we'll return an image with data is equal to data, width is equal to int cast width, and height is equal to int cast height. Boom. And here we should say if data, what does this return? I assume it's, what does it return in Zigland? In Zigland, it's probably a nullable, so I guess we can just say or else return error invalid data, and we'll say std log error failed to load image. And I think there's actually a way to get an error message out of this. Error. S2BI error. Yeah. So this goes somewhere here. STBI failure reason. Nice. Boom. Probably wouldn't be a big difference what will determine the situation. If you're using C single headers, it's not a big deal either way. Yeah, I think that's probably also true. I think it probably doesn't really matter. Even if I think it's technically worse. Like, it's like, really, who fucking cares is where I lean for sure. This has to be sentinel valued slice so that this conversion works correctly. And are we chilling? Maybe. Okay, so we're gonna get our image. So we're gonna say const image equal to image init from our image path. I guess here we can just write args1. And we're gonna have to like bind this to a texture. So opengl bind texture. Yeah, you're right. This can fail. You are right. You are correct. So let's zig build and run it. He should complain that I didn't pass in the right arguments. He's gonna be a little whiner. Unused local constant. So let's just std log. We'll start by like std debug print sweet UI mockup. How did you make that? I just typed it with my fingers like a fucking idiot. You know, sometimes you just you could do the smart thing and find something that does what you want, or you could just brute force it. He's unhappy here because GPA allocator cast discards qualifier. So I guess that means that this guy has to be var. Args.len is less than 2. He's gonna get mad because this has to be an attempted allocation. Std log error requires 2 arguments. Where did I fuck that one up? Here. And are we fucking there yet? Data, expected const u8 found this. So we actually have to say, we have to slice our data here. So we're gonna say it's from 0 to width times height. And we're actually gonna need to cast width and height to do that. Maybe he's actually gonna figure it out. Can I maybe cast him here? Nice. Nice. No image path given. So let's get an image to load. I guess we'll just use this one because it's on the page I'm looking at right now. Textures PNG. All right. So he sure did print that, which is actually kind of not what I wanted. Don't you need the num channels? So the way this works is if I specify 0 here, it'll tell me how many channels are. But if I specify 1, I think it's 1. Yeah, it'll give me a black and white image, and tell me how many channels were in the original here. But I don't really give a fuck, so I just ignore it. All right. So somewhere I have to say, hey, I want to create a texture. Oh my god, go away. I don't need this ad. Is there just like this thing printed out? I need to like create a texture, bind the texture, copy the data into it. This looks like what I want. Okay, so we create a texture. Let's say function image to texture. To load the data. I'm just like, what's gonna happen is STBI is converting the image to black and white for me. So I know, like, the number of channels is like hard-coded to 1 everywhere in the program. So I don't have to worry about like passing it around. If I were going to support non-black and white, then I would have to worry about it, but I'm just not going to do that. So we take in a image and we return what looks to be like an unsigned int. Probably, well, let's look at the APIs to like GL gen textures. That's probably where I'm looking. So this is a GL uint. Let's just use that for consistency. Like this. All right. Probably this can fail, but I'm going to act like it can't because I don't want to deal with that right now. And so I guess we will do this guy. Boom. So he's saying, hey, could I generate one texture? Could I bind that texture? Could I set some of these parameters that I can never remember exactly why these are important? I think it's for like mip map it. Mip map? What is that? What, mip map. I'm saying that like I know what it is. Fuck off, DuckDuckGo. But I don't actually remember what it stands for. Mip maps, pyramids, optimized sequence of images, each with progressively lower resolution. Yeah, so like LODs, level of detail change depending on the size of your texture. Right, so you go like, hey, if we've got like this like massive fucking image, but if you are only taking up 10 by 10 pixels, you really only need a 10 by 10 pixel thing for it. And so I think that by default that's on or something. And if you don't say, hey, I'm going to set these parameters related to mip mapping, like it's going to try to use one that's not there or something. I can never remember, but I know that if I don't copy paste these from Learn OpenGL, it gets mad. Like I just don't get what I want. Here he is saying, oh, he's generating the mip map, which I usually try to dodge. So maybe this isn't... I guess I should start with what they have here and then change it as I go. So he's saying I'm using RGB data. That's not true for us. We are still using a 2D texture. What are these arguments? GL texture, what is it? Text image 2D? Level is the level of detail, 0 is base. Yeah, so we want 0 here. Ever try anything in Vulkan? No, but I imagine it's worse. That's like the impression that I've been getting. We want this to be one color, not RGB. And this is on the internal format. So the format of the texture itself is going to be one channel. And it's going to have some width and height. So, int cast image dot width and int cast image dot height, and the border is 0. This value must be 0. Nice. And we are importing from a, is this GL red or is it R? GL red, I think. Format GL red. Yeah. And the type of the pixel data is going to be GL unsigned byte. So we're chilling there. These things, a lot of these guys have to be prefixed with C's. Just kind of like everywhere. And the data comes from image.data. Okay. We need to create our texture here. So we say var texture is a cgl uint is equals 0, or undefined, I guess. Doesn't fucking matter. Then we return the texture. Boom. All right. And so we should be able to, somewhere, I guess we should load the image down below here after everything's set up. And they say const texture is equal to image to texture from the image. You can set geotexture max level to 0 to make sure that you don't get any bitmaps. I think you do have bitmaps levels that are undefined. Rendering can fail. Okay, right. I think that's probably what I usually end up doing. I think that there's also, I remember setting like mag params to like setting them to 0 in some way as well, but I don't remember. It's been a while. It's been a while. But you're right though. In the example, they did say generate bitmap. And if I do that, then it should be defined. Texture 2D. Because this is what they do. And I can just do what they do. Yeah. Okay. Unused local context. Constant. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we need to bind the texture. So I think that if I remember correctly, you can bind the texture. Like, I guess I should do it here is probably where it makes sense. And I think that in my fragment shader, somewhere I have to say like, hey, texture 0 is active. Where are they not doing that in here? GL active texture. Yeah. And then they bind it. Okay. So they do GL active texture, which tells the OpenGL instance to please forward this thing to the shader. I guess this is saying, hey, which texture are we binding to? Are we binding? Then we bind the texture. The texture has the image associated with it. And then we call draw raise. And so I should be able to, I just think in my fragment shader now, I should be able to just start sampling it. Maybe. I think. They are saying that they specify a uniform sampler 2D texture 1. And I don't think you call set uniform to get this. Oh, they do that. But I seem to remember that this kind of also implicitly does it. Like it automatically binds to this GL texture 0 slot or something. I guess we'll find out. I'm going to do it wrong first, and then we'll see what happens. Uniform sampler 2D text. And here we will just pull from the texture. See what fucking happens. Where is text chord coming from in here? Texture, OpenGL. Maybe this will be a little bit more like what I want. When an image unit bind texture binds the texture, it depends on the current active texture unit, blah, blah, blah. Value of texture is GL texture 0. This will cause the texture image unit to be the current, blah, blah, blah. A sampler in GLSL is a uniform variable. It cannot be set from within the program. It can only be set from the user program. Sampler types correspond to blah, blah, blah. Yep. Maybe I click on this. Sampler. Oh, this is sampler. How do I... Texture, lookup functions. Okay, yeah, here we go. So I have texture chords. And then where do my texture coordinates come from? Are you planning on making a game engine using OpenGL? We've actually done not a full game engine, but we did render this guy. Hold on, let's see. Work, stream, start, screen, Nix, shell. Give him a sec, We did this guy by hand in OpenGL, and we had a little bit of fun with him. Cargo, run. Right, this guy? This is all manual OpenGL. We did like a little bit of shadows, 3D object loading, some like shader projection stuff here. Nothing too crazy, but we have I think that's probably considered game engine-esque. Like it has a lot of common things in there. So that's on GitHub here if you're curious about it ever. All right, I guess we'll just use, I'm going to assume that text chord here is like a built-in that we can just run. So I think that we can probably just do fragment equals texture sample from text at text chord, maybe? And maybe that's fine. Fucked up binding here. Here I probably have to call dot pointer on this guy. Okay. So here he's mad for no matching function call to texture sampler 2D error. So it does seem like text chord is just not set. So where does this come from? Oh, they passed them out. I think that there's a built-in for this, right? GL frag chord is maybe what I'm thinking about. Contains the window relative coordinates of the current frame. Yeah, it's plenty good enough for me. Plenty good for me. GL frag chord. Let's try that. Still no bueno. No matching function call. Oh, so I need to say, hey, can I get my XY position only? I don't give a fuck about Z. Okay. So, there's something there. This doesn't really look like what I would have expected. But it is something. It is something. Okay, let's create some image. GL frag chord is in window coordinates, texture expect coordinates in 0 to 1 range. Oh, so you're thinking it's in -1 to 1? So I need to like remap this? Like it's we can double check. Frag chord. Window relative, so window coordinates are in 0 to 1 already, right? Now it's in pixels? Contains a window relative coordinate x, y, z, 1 over w, values for the fragment. If multisampling, this value can be location within the pixel. For example, xy location 0.5, 0.5, return for the lower leftmost pixel in a window. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, hold on. OpenGL window coordinates. I forget. Okay, global is whatever we use. Clip space is the -1 to 1. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I don't care about any of this. I just want to know what window coordinates are. Fuck off. It's not any of you guys, just like my brain. Like I just wish it was. Sometimes I just want to like pull the information in a little faster. Input variable. I mean, I guess we can always just try remapping it and see what fucking happens. What I was going to do was I wanted to know. I wanted to know if we can see any form of reasonable change by changing the image. So let's start there. So let's just like, if we paint bucket this whole fucker green and save him as work, video editor, and we call this green PNG. Green PNG. It is still not red at all. Oh, wait, but we're not using, it's all one color. We're loading black and white. So let's change it to be black, and we'll still call him green because we hate ourselves. So that's a good sign. By changing it to green, to black, we are getting something. And so like, now we can try doing something like, you know, do we get anything that resembles that? No. So there's a good chance that y'all are right. Good chance. So you guys are saying frag chord is in like the maximum is like GL window size. I guess we can also test this by just making this color output GL frag chord dot x GL frag chord y 0 and 1. And that will give us a clue to like the scale where it's changing. And we are seeing one constant bright ass yellow. So let's just do the divide by 1,000-ish. Really? Like, oh, oops, this guy should be 0 here. No. Vec for 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what I wanted. That's not correct. Too many arguments to vec for constructor. Oh, oops, this is... It's crazy how I just don't read what I'm looking at. Okay, yeah. So they're probably, like, you guys are saying window space, and that lines up here. Is there nothing that's like opengl frag built-ins? I just want to know, like, frag chord in window space, like you guys said. Is there one that's like relative to the side of the point? So I guess I just have to take in order to do it this way. I would just have to take in the fucking window position, like the window size of uniform. So I guess instead what I'll do is I'll just say, I guess that's why they did it this way. In the OpenGL example. So I can say, hey, frag chord is just vertices GL vertex ID X and vertices GL vertex ID Y. And that gives me the -1 to 1 normalized space. So I guess we'll call it vertex position, vert chord, 2D. And then in here, we'll say that we get in vec to invert or vert chord 2D, and then we'll convert this times plus 1 divided by 2, because it's -1 to 1 to 0 to 1. So vec to frag chord is equal to this. And then we should be able to just use frag chord.x here and frag chord.y here without the divide by 1,000. And then hopefully that gets rid of some of the bullshit. Okay, let's try that. Not bueno. Error at line 11 of one of these guys. Yeah, that should be like this. Yeah, there we go. That's my drawing. Sure. It's upside down, but who gives a shit? And it's in a triangle, which is also not great. So we can convert our triangle to a square by saying, could you draw me a triangle or GL triangle strip? Which will, if you go like, you know, you have one triangle here, you have another triangle here, you just put your vertex positions this way, and when you draw a strip, it will go here to here to here as one triangle, and then go here to here to here as the next triangle. So you can make a quad out of two triangles. So here we just change our vertex from being negative 0.5, negative 0.5, 0.5, negative 0.5. This one is wrong. Nothing should be on 0. So this is, I don't know which way is negative, but we'll pretend that negative is bottom left for now. So this is 1. And then x is positive, so this is 2. And then this is 3. And then 4 would be negative 0.5. Yeah. Nope. Fuck me. My life is so hard. And then also we need to control C early so that we don't have to scroll up super far. At line 10. Because I forgot a comma. It's hard life out here. Still no good. Vec44 cannot be assigned to Vec43. And we fucked up. Negative. Okay, let's just start negative, negative, positive, negative, positive, positive, negative, positive. What am I missing here? Negative, negative. Oh, maybe the order of these two guys is swapped. Order of some two guys is swapped. They do have to be in the right order. So, negative, negative, negative. I think it has to be this order. Yeah. So this needs to be 1, 2, 3. No. 1, 2, 3, 4. So negative, negative. Then we do this. Yeah. Nope. Oh, because the commas are in the wrong spots now. Hard life. Hard life. Okay, there we go. There's a square. And then because it's in 0.5 to 0.5, then we've got like an issue here. So we'll just adjust this to be plus 0.5. And I think that should put us in the range 0 to 1. No? Did that even recompile? Wait, is that right? Oh yeah, that is right. It's just upside down. Let's make this a more distinct image. So can we do something like go back to black everywhere, and then we'll draw a little smiley face. Smile. There we go. Look at that little cutie. Okay, he's upside down. Can we ask STBI image to flip it? Maybe that doesn't fucking matter. Here, what we'll do for now is we'll just stick a little negative here. Or, no, we'll stick a negative. Frag chord.y times equals 1. That should do it. There we go. I think SCB image has a flip flag. Yeah, I was going to do that, but then I realized I don't know what's going to come out of ffmpeg, so I don't really want to do that now. I'll just figure out how to flip the coordinates in OpenGL space, and then we can deal with it later. Okay. Okay, so we're at 01:30:20. And let's pivot now. We've kind of got like the scaffolding in place for working with OpenGL and shoving an image in there if we want. Let's try to get a frame out of OpenGL. Or sorry, out of ffmpeg. So let's just do a little quick get status, get add source, stb image star, get status, get commit -m, show image now, man. And okay. So next up, ffmpeg. Decode video example. STB image does not decode MJPEG. Are you gonna use it? I'm just going to use. I was using it as like a placeholder just to get the OpenGL side working, right? So that we are confident that when we switch into trying to use ffmpeg, we're not debugging both OpenGL image loading and ffmpeg video decoding at the same time. We only want to debug one at a time. So, okay, decode video. So, let's take a look at what this guy's doing. Main. We have some input file and some output file. Okay. Sure. Check your input is encoded by MPEG-1 video, please. So we'll have to double check. Here he is looking up a decoder given a specific codec ID. I assume there is some way to extract which codec you need from the file itself. So we'll kind of loop back on that. He's saying, hey, I have a packet. This is some input buffer here. Where does this input buffer get used? That'll come later, I guess. So he says, hey, I want to create a decoder for MPEG-1 video. I want to create a parser that uses this codec. I want to create some context that uses this codec. So I have a context and a parser, both for the same codec. Then I open the codec for the context. Initialize the AV codec context to use the given AV codec. Prior to using this function, the context has to be allocated. Depending on the codec, you might need to set options in the codec context, blah, blah, blah. So I guess this is like initializing your codec in some way. You're saying like, hey, I have like an MPEG thing and like I need to set some parameters in my context or something based off of that. Based off of like the beginning. Or maybe I need to like initialize some fields before reading the first frame. Then we get a frame. Oh no, we allocate a frame. And we read data from our file into the input buffer. So that's what this input is for. We feed that data into the parser. And then we decode. So the parser must output something. He exports stuff into the packet. And then if our packet is complete or something, then we decode the packet into the frame. Then do they do anything with the frame? What is the output file in this example? Here they have, I saw something about an output, did I not? Output file. So out file name, where is this used? They flush the decoder. Oh, here. They decode. Oh, the decode takes in out file name. I see. So this is a function here who says send this packet. What the fuck is sending a packet? Supply raw packet data as input to a decoder. Okay. So in this main loop, we're saying like, hey, could I get some packets from the parser, please? And then once we get the packet, we try to feed the packet into the codec. Okay, I think there's a lot going on here. But I think I think we might be able to figure it out. So we have file. And I think what happens is we have our parser. Maybe we want to draw it like this. Delete, please. Delete. Okay, there we go. Oopsies. Redo. I want this gone. Gone, please. Out of here. Nice. Okay. So I think you have like parser. And you take like a file and you just like kind of like feed chunks of data into the parser, and the parser will spit out packets. I think. Packet. I assume packets are like some unit of work for a video, right? You can imagine these being like a frame, but it's not a frame because there's a frame as well. So let's keep going. So we send this packet to the codec. So we have codec, and he takes packets, and he spits out. What does he spit out? Frames. Frame. And what is a frame here? Okay. I assume that a frame is like a picture. Maybe. Let's see what is in this frame. Where does frame come from? The structure describes decoded raw audio or video data. AV frame must be allocated. AV frame is typically allocated once and reused multiple times. The data described by an AV frame is usually reference counted, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but this is what's more interesting. So describes decoded raw audio or video. So probably in here, we're going to have some sort of buffer. Number of audio samples. Format of the frame. Picture type of the frame. Timestamps. Yep. Quality. Sure. Where's the like just fucking image data though? Side data. Like, oh, data here. Pointer to the picture channel. So a frame can be multiple packets. I think it's the other way around, right? I think that a packet, like one packet, could include like a picture as well as like accompanying audio and like maybe channel 2 if you have like multiple channels. And then you like take a packet in here and you feed it to presumably multiple codecs, I would guess. I mean, it didn't really say that here, but I would imagine that if you're doing audio and video separately, this MPEG 1... Oh, okay, so MPEG 1 is the container. And so we're saying, hey, we have a codec for this container. The container then spits out, like, it might support an H.264 encoded frame as along with some like MP3 audio or something, and it probably spits both of those guys out as individual frames. And so in this example, they're just like ripping those frames back into the output file. But yeah, okay. A frame can definitely be multiple packets. But like, isn't one frame, according to this, like one frame is like a unit of video, right? If my frame has... Oh, I see what you're saying. You might need to feed multiple packets in to get one frame out. Is that what you're saying? Because that would make sense to me, right? Like, if you have like a big ass fucking image, this might get chunked into like multiple packets. Then you feed those packets in the parser who like gradually builds up this frame. And then once the frame is done, he goes, I've got a frame for you. Here you go. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. All right. So nothing too crazy in here. So what do we want to do? We want to do something similar to this initially. We want to pull some data, video frames from a video. Sure. And just instead of this decode, when we receive a frame, we're just going to try to shove it into an OpenGL texture. For now. Maybe before we even do that, maybe we'll just look at it and print out some information about it. That probably makes sense. So we'll start by, I guess, we need whatever libraries this is using. So this is using AV codec and only AV codec. So looks like maybe we can get away with that. Lib AV codec. Are they separate? ffmpeg. Probably I just yoinked this. What's in here? What is in here? Oh my god. That's a lot. I'm just gonna... Since I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, what if we just pull in ffmpeg and then hope for the fucking best? Okay. The receive frame function can error with E again, which tells you the frame isn't complete. Okay, perfect. That makes a lot of sense. I guess we also need some video, right? We need some video. And I will always use Big Buck Bunny for the rest of my life because I saw it one time. Streaming. Download Big Buck Bunny movies. I don't want it in 4K. I don't really care. Dude, these are crazy file formats. MOV and AVI are very funny to me. I don't know why. Let's go with this really small MP4 released in 2008. Sure, fuck it. Oops. Can I save link as? Okay. Okay. So, the one piece that we were missing here was they hard-coded MPEG 1. And certainly there's a way to like ffmpeg detect codec from file. Like there's got to be something that exists for that. Oops. Lib AV codec. Find codec from file or something. Find decoder by name. God damn it. God damn it. Is it one of these examples? Will it tell us? Show metadata. Ah, yeah. This looks familiar. Lib AV format. Open input. And probably AV format is the one who checks the format of files and can discover their codec. So what does this guy do? He says, hey, I have some context. Please initialize this context given this file. Okay, so what is in this AV format context? We're looking for codec. That's the piece of info that we need. This looks promising, but this is forced. Probably because, if I remember correctly, this is input and output, so it depends on if it's input or output. What does find stream info do? He creates some return, and they iterate the dictionary from the metadata. Reads packets of media files to get stream information. This is useful for file formats with no headers, such as mpeg. This function also completes. Okay, whatever. Opening a media file. Reading data from an opened AV format context is done by repeatedly calling AV read frame, which will return an AV packet. Ooh, okay. So it looks like maybe the example that we were looking at was kind of like a lower level one. Maybe AV format is kind of built on top. And maybe, like, because this AV packet is the unit of work we were looking at before, I think. Maybe. Maybe not. Where's our examples? So our examples from Decode video. Were we working with AV packets here? Yeah, we were. Okay. So we're going to cheat again. I know, AI, I know. But we can ask it. Sometimes it helps with when I'm like really fucking lost. What's the difference between AV codec and AV format. God, such a useless fucking answer. Functions from supports various blah blah blah. Also blah blah blah. Okay, this is handles a container format. Okay, you're useless. Useless. Sometimes he hits. Sometimes he doesn't. And even when he hits, sometimes he's a fucking lying piece of shit. So, you know. Let's look for an AV read frame example. Oh, this comes from a format context. So, demux decode. Okay, this is probably very similar. Okay, that's more code. So here he opens a file. He doesn't care about, I assume he doesn't care about the hard-coded format anymore. So he says, hey, can you tell me something about you? And he opens a codec context. Nice. Okay, so this is a function, this is a function that's part of this file. So when he gets the codec context, it's no longer hard-coded. And Jesus Christ. So there might be multiple streams in the file. He says, hey, give me the best one. Which is, what does this do? What does it do? It finds the best stream, sure, but like, what, am I just supposed to, is there really there's no documentation for it, okay. It finds the best one. And we only ever want the best one, clearly. So why would we question it? By like what metric? There's also the ffplay CLI command, which just plays the video if you want to look at source code. Yeah, that's not a bad idea either. That's not a bad idea. So what does this do? He iterates number of streams. And how does he like determine what is best? So this is for like, I see. So this is for like if you are in OBS and you like create multiple you might want to like create a video file immediately off rip that has like a 1080p and a 640 by 480 and a 320 by 240 version of the stream inside it all at once. And then maybe you like separate those out later. And so this is kind of saying like, hey, which of these things has like the best bit rate and like whatever. He's trying to pick something according to those metrics, I guess. So fuck it. We'll just assume that we have one. I'm okay with that. Then he says OBS can do that. I know it can do it for audio. I'm assuming it can do it for video, but I could have been wrong. I could be wrong there. At the very least, there is formats that support multiple video streams. I'm sure of that. Okay, so we have some streams in our format. We find a decoder for that stream. So this is what I was saying before, where we want to like figure out how to, we don't want to hard code it. This guy creates a context, copy codec parameters, okay, and then init the decoders. Then is anything else in here too crazy? Why are there, we'll discard audio for now. I don't give a fuck. And then he creates some frames and packets to work with. Okay. And if there is a video stream, oh, he doesn't actually do anything with it. So the only thing that I was like really, really looking for was there was something about AV read frame. Return the next frame of the stream. And this was in demux Decode. So, here. If while we read the frames, we decode the packet. So, interestingly, AV read frame doesn't seem to do anything with a frame, right? His inputs are format, context, and packet. But I assume that he just pushes continually reads until the packet has a full frame in it, probably so that you can reuse existing code or something. Because then this guy still does the same send and receive. Okay. I think we have it. I think we got there. Maybe. We're maybe there enough. So let's start by looking for a video file. So we'll just say if args_len is less than 3. This was 2, and then 3 here is going to say no video path given. And this isn't E, this is 3. And then let's just bang out like a get video frame. We're just gonna get 1 frame for now. Just 1. We only need 1. And actually, then in that case, we can, well, first of all, let's just make sure that I remembered to commit, and I did. So let's actually say no video path given here. And instead of pulling an image with stbi image, we are going to call image by saying like try get ffmpeg frame, get video frame. Yeah. Yes. And then we will say function get video frame. He is going to return an image, I guess. And he's going to come from a path. And we'll figure out the details as we go. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is call AV format open input. So here we need to include what is, I assume, AV format, lib AV util, no. Lib AV format.h. And then here we say, hey, can we open the thing with AV format, please? So this is coming from the format context, which we don't have yet. Which we do not have yet. So what is a format context? This. Const format context is a AV CAV format context, and we're going to set it to null initially, which means that he needs to be a optional pointer in this language. When we open the input, we look at the format CTX, the path, and 2 nulls, which we will look at in a second. And if this is less than 0, we return error invalid data or something and say stood log error failed to open video. No new line and null params or something. And then here we'll say return error unimplemented. Okay, if we build this now, probably he's going to complain. Expected type the fuck, found type the fuck, so this has to be like this. This has to be var. Oh, in which case maybe it was actually fine to have it the way it was before and write var here. Maybe it'll autocast, I'm not really sure. Ah, yeah, okay. Now we don't have AV format, so in our build script, we have to say, hey, could we please link AV format? Please. Another cool sounding project. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Okay, so nothing crazy. Error unimplemented, which is exactly what we expect to see, because we have not implemented it. We have not implemented it. So what's next? Find the stream info. I feel like there should be some autocomplete going on, so I'm just gonna like reset my language server. I just don't believe, I think probably adding the new C library, he didn't resolve the headers correctly, and then he was just like, I'm lost. No, he's still not saying it. Fuck, that's annoying. Find stream info. It's okay. We'll just copy paste with our fingers. and figure it out. So if this is less than 0, we're gonna say failed to find stream info. Yeah. And what is this doing? Can we maybe go here and say find stream info? Like, what's going on here? Here we go. Read packets of a media file to get stream information. This is useful for file formats with no headers, such as mpeg. This function also computes the real frame rate and blah blah blah. The logical file position is not changed by this function. Examine packets may be buffered for later processing. Okay. This function isn't guaranteed to open all the codecs, so options being on to get the return is perfectly normal behavior. So I see. So we say, hey, you can like spit out some stuff for us, but we don't really care, so we pass null in there. And that's kind of like the same thing here too, where we passed in null here and here, and this was saying, hey, fucking figure out the format. I don't give a shit. And this is saying, I don't really understand why you would do this. So he's saying, you have like specific options for the demuxer. On return, this parameter will be destroyed and replace the dict combining containing options that were not found. Oh, so maybe you're trying to open like an MKV and you're going like, I expect that my MKV, I want to like apply this specific thing to our MKV decoder? Demuxer. And then it might say like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and these are the ones that I couldn't make work. But we don't care. Okay. Okay, so can we like print out some information here at this point? Because at this point we should understand what like what the stream is. So can we like stream info? So we can find the stream info. Maybe at this point we have a format context. AV format context. Who is here. And can we like look at some pieces of this guy and see if we find anything interesting? So let's like say, hey, we have some stream with, or sorry, format opened with this many streams. And we'll just look at the format context and the streams. It's not arrow in this language, it's a dot. It auto-resolves. So if we run this now, green.png is not a video, so it's pretty funny that all of this is kind of just working so far. That's very funny to me, actually. This guy is not supposed to be an ampersand. And this does not support field access. Oh, because I have to say, hey, trust me, bro. This is initialized. Don't fucking worry about it. Okay, format opened with 1 streams. So this is very funny, actually. I was very much expecting to have to switch this to a video, but it looks like ffmpeg can actually open a single image and treat it like a video, which I've seen when using the ffmpeg CLI. So it's kind of funny that this actually might just work without changing anything. And it would be really funny to get to the end and just have the same image. Okay, can we extract any information about the streams in here? Right, so we have like AV stream. Where does that come from? Struct AV stream. This must come from somewhere else. Okay, well, maybe we'll take a look. Let's take a look. Take a little peek skis. AV stream. What's in here? Right, so like maybe we can look at the stream and say how many frames do you have. We should expect 1 if it's a PNG. And does it tell us like things about like the size of the stream, metadata? Maybe no. Aspect ratio, that's something. Average frame rate, attached pic, blah blah blah. Okay, let's try at the very least seeing how many frames are we expect to have. If it says 1, then we're on the right track. And so we'll say stream number of frames comes from streams 0 I think this is certainly wrong. It was stream 0 dereference to number of frames or something. Something like that. Does not support field access. So we have to do like 0 here because it thinks it's an array. It's like not really sure. Stream number frame 0. So maybe it's still unknown at this point. Lame. Would have been interesting. Okay, so we have streams. Where is our example about how to get a frame out of the sky? So, is this the right example? No. Yes? No. Where is the example I care about? Demux decoding. I got lost. I got lost for sure. AV format, read frame in an example of demux decode. Okay, so after we read the frame, find stream info, we allocate a codec for the video stream index. Oh, so he's saying, oh, I see. So this guy's saying, hey, I want to open a video given this format context, and could you please stick the output of the codec and the stream ID here? Is this a function? I see, this is part of this. So this is here. So he says, find the best stream. We know for now, this is an invalid assumption for later, but for now, we know that we only have one stream. So we can say format context streams 0. We have some stream. And he says, hey, could I find the stream given the parameters for that stream? I want the codec ID. So find me the fucking decoder for that codec ID. So we should be able to say like stream, I misspelled const here, so it's confused. And as we just saw below, this is like a C array or something. So we have to do like stream 0 optional dereference, then take the first one. Yeah. And we say, hey, stream dot codec parameters codec ID. So here we have a codec ID is this thing. Probably there's going to be some sort of like bullshit C API stuff going on here. So we'll come back to this, probably. Let me say AV codec. Find me a decoder for this codec ID. That's it. Yeah. And we can say std debug print got a decoder. And maybe we even print it out. Let's just print out his address for now. Well, maybe look inside him in a second, but I just want to get something. Oh, we have to do this bullshit question mark 0 thing. AV codec find decoder is not found, so we need to go into our build script and say we also want AV codec. Okay. We've built, we've run, and we got a decoder at that address. Okay, so let's can we look at what is in this guy? Click, hello. There we go. Maybe I should middle click this guy so I come up with a new tab so I don't lose our thing again. And let's print out the codec ID at least. Got a decoder with ID, and we'll print out the decoder. And it's probably like this shit again. Is it ID? Where'd I go? I lost it. Codec Yeah, just .id. And then let's new line here. Run. Take a little peek skis. We got a ID 61. And if we look at the list of IDs, you got a human-friendly name in there if you want. Let's look again. Oh, name. Yeah. Nice. That is what I want. Thank you. Let's look at the name. Nice, baby. So it knows it's a PNG. We're on the right track. We are on the right track. Okay, so once we find a decoder, we need a context for the decoder. So if I understand this correctly, the context has like extra info associated with the codec. The codec's kind of like if I understand correctly, I think it's like stateless. So you might say like, hey, I want like this, like which thing should I use to decode PNGs? And it tells you, oh, use this thing. But then it might have like some state associated with it. So I think the codec context holds like the state of the decoder that you might need as you're like pulling in packets and stuff, I think. So we say context is, we say AV codec alloc context 3. I don't know why it's probably the third version of it or something, probably versioning related. Like probably they have some macro that like resolves to this or something if you want to use just like whatever the latest and greatest is. And then they copy the parameters to the context. So these parameters come from the stream info. And so I guess this is kind of saying like this stream is expecting to be decoded in this way, so we have to copy that in, I guess. Parameters to context. So this comes from the context, and we pull it from the stream codec par. And then we open the decoders. So AV codec open to decoder. And oh, this is the context, which is saying we should dereference the decoder and null. By the way, do you know how Zig handles C macros? Like assert might be a macro. Can you still access it from C assert? I think so. I think that you can. It seems like it's like handling of working with C is much better than anything I've worked with before. Like it seems to resolve at least like simple defines. I'm not sure about the function like macros, but I think it handles them okay. AV codec alloc context 3 does not exist. So what's going on there? Probably because I need to import lib AV codec or something. And now context, I was supposed to pass it a pointer, but I found it pass it a pointer to a pointer, so that's at line 76. This one. And value return ignored. So we will ignore it. And this expected pointer, but we dereference it, so we'll remove that. And we'll ignore this as well. Okay. So now we should be able to start asking for packets. So we should be able to call AV read frame. And we should be able to use the format context and the packet, which we haven't initialized yet. So here we come from AV packet alloc, and we have frame alloc as well. So here we should read a frame, and he's going to return something. Zero if okay, less than zero on error and a file. So if this is less than 0, we will say failed to read frame. Yeah, yeah. And return error invalid data. Otherwise, we should have a frame. Otherwise, we should have a frame. We should be able to decode the packet. Given the decoder context, which is just send a packet. Send the packet to the decoder. So our decoder is the codec context, and the frame is the frame. And then we say, hey, could I receive a frame, please? From the decoder? Oh, from the decoder context. So this is just doing like a round trip through the thing. And now it would be interesting to look at the frame. So what is in an AV frame? There's a good chance that we've missed something, by the way. But let's just start by looking at the frame format. So here we will say, there's also a lot of like error ignoring that we're doing right now, but I'm fading and I just want to get I want to get somewhere, you know? I want to get somewhere. So we're skipping stuff. So we want to know received frame with format. And then we look at the frame format. Easy. And certainly this won't build. No member type of AV send packets. So where does this guy come from? AV codec. Zig Sally can't import some complex macros. Had some issues importing structural fields that specify a bit with. Nice, but it does do like a best effort, right? Makes best effort, yeah. Cool. What's my programming background history? What year is it? 2024. So I've probably been programming for at least 10 years, probably more. Probably like closer to 15. Did some like comp sci or computer engineering in university, which it's like silly to throw that out and say it's not relevant, but to be honest, it did not feel that relevant. What felt much more relevant was that the going through school, they link you with companies and you get to do like internships that you might not have had a shot at otherwise. So worked at like this like camera company that worked with like security cameras, and we did like video transfer. So you have like this like camera, it's got some like dedicated hardware in there for processing frames. You've got like your lens, your like Ethernet. You have to like basically like write drivers for things that you need to control with like, you know, lens motors, PTZ motors, whatever. You need to like take the encoded frames from their like DCP, packetize them, send them over to like some software that runs like records based off of events. So there's like some like AI stuff going on there too, where they're like, oh, we want to look if there's people or not, stuff like that. And then I worked at this company that did like AI robot stuff. So we had like box full of parts that you might want to use in like manufacturing, and like you would want to like go pick up the thing, and just picking up the thing wasn't really enough. You also need to like put the thing somewhere, right? So you can imagine if you have like a bolt in some assembly that you want to like screw in, you have to know where the head of the bolt is and line up the end of it and stick it in some hole somewhere. So stuff like that. Both jobs pretty fun. But now we're taking a break and just doing whatever the fuck we feel like for a bit. And that's what I was doing. What was the robot company name? I don't know if I should say that out loud. It was very cool, but I don't know if I'm like supposed. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know. I think it's probably fine, but I'd rather not share just in case. Just in case. Okay. What am I doing here? I am trying to figure out how to get frames. Okay, so does this compile? This does not compile. Because this is a const thing, but he expects a non-const thing, so we should be able to say var here. No, expected packet found frame. Oh, that's a problem. So this should be packet here. Send packet, and we are going to ignore the return. And then we get back this thing. And here we need to use a 0. We need to look at array 0 instead of the pointer because it's like these like C array pointers that it's not really confident about. And now we need to say in our build script, hey, could we get a link against AV frame? Probably is what it's called. Okay. AV frame does not exist. Okay, so what is... Oh, of course, it's AV codec, AV format. Where does AV frame come from then? Include frame.h. What library is this in? Data structure? Oh, AV2 util, it says there. It says there. Let's take a little peek skis. Are we good this time? Come on, baby. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And we got received frame with format 26. Okay. So what is format 26? Where do these formats come from? Who fucking knows? I don't even remember. Dude, my brain is getting so fried. So I don't even know like what I'm talking about. Frame format. Okay, so we look at AV frame, which is here, and the format is here, which is one of AV pixel format here. So we look up AV pixel format. And these don't have numbers on them, which is fucking useless. Fucking useless. Is there like a nice little name format? No. Okay, so we're just gonna have to look at these defines probably. Which are... Great. Fuck me. AV, look at these macros, man. These are crazy. These are crazy. How do I know which one's 26? Surely there's a way to fucking print out the name, right? AV pix format to string. Surely this exists somewhere because like there's just no way. There's no way. AV pix format. Yeah, thank fucking God. See, AV get pix format name for this format. Const format name is this, and then we get a string and we look at format name. Okay. Please. Fuck! AV get pix format name. So where does this come from? AV util. So lib AV util. AV util, probably? Probably? Nope. Still no. Where does this come from? Pix desk. Oh. Get format name. AV codec string config. But where does this come from? Like, return the name of pixel. Examples in demuxing. Get pix format name. Okay. And what do they include here to get that? Probably this. Probably. Still no, eh? I guess we just, do we just yoink all of these guys? Timestamp image utils. There it is. Receive frame with format RGBA. Let's go, baby. Hell yeah. Okay. Okay. So, now we have a frame with RGBA data in it, which is like a very, very good sign. Very good sign. So, okay, what if, okay, let's get crazy here. I don't want to deal with converting to grayscale right now, and I also don't want to deal with fixing anything that we've done so far. So let's go back to our little smiley face guy. And can we save this as like a black and white PNG? Monochrome? Hell yeah. Okay. And then hopefully we don't have to worry about any conversion and we can just work with what we already had. And we'll keep using the guy green.png because, you know, we like confusing ourselves. So format PAL8. I don't know what that is, but we can maybe look at our pixel formats and take a peek. So pixel format PAL8. What? 8 bits with AVPix format RGB32 palette. Feels like a lie, right? Because we saved it as monochrome. Okay, well, whatever. It's probably close enough since it's always black and white. The image is black and white, even if it's sub-split into RGB. I believe that the white would still be right because R, G, and B would all be maxed out. Maybe. So, I think that we have enough. If we just don't free anything, right? We just don't clean up our memory, which, hell yeah, this language lets us just not do that. We should be able to, I think, return an image now. We need to figure out its width and height, which must be in the frame. It must be in the frame. It must be. Sample rate, format, number of samples. How do I find out like the size, width, video dimensions, video frames only? So they say they have width and height, but oh yeah, this is AV frame.width. Okay, cool. So we should be able to return width is equal to frame width, height is height, and data is data. He has number of data pointers, so I think that we only have one plane, so we should just return data 0. And then probably this has to be like this as well. Expected use size found cint, so we'll just do some int casts here. And then is the rest chill? No. Expected optional type found this. Oh, so this is not like this. Expected const 8 found this. So we need to assume that it is a certain size. So we'll turn this into a slice by doing this. These are going to be use sizes. And then we'll say data 0 from 0 to width times height. And then here we will width and height. Okay, close. AV frame, this is not like this, I guess. Okay. Not promising. Not promising. So let's do just a paint bucket white, just to see if that gives us something. No. Just disappointing. Disappointing. How do we proceed from here? AV num data pointers is 8. Yeah, okay. So line size. Oh, let's look at line size. Well, yeah, let's look at line size. See if that gives us anything sane. So this is going to be frame 0 line size 0. So we should expect this to be equal to width, probably. Maybe a little bigger if there's some padding. So like this, maybe, I don't know. Okay. Receive frame with palette, line size 384. I guess we didn't log our width, which we should also do. So let's print the image size is going to be width by height. If palette uses a palette, could black and white not just both be 0 and 1, not black? That seems very possible. You're right. If pal stands for palette, that would make a lot of sense. In which case, for now, let's just get fucking crazy with it. Right? We'll just multiply our thing by 1,000. Nope, no luck. But we could print it. So we could say const data is equal to this. And let's just see what's in here. Data is going to be something like any. Yeah, that's what we print. Dude, my brain's getting so fucking fried. Yeah, I can just feel it where I just like stare at the screen. I'm just like, nothing is coming into my brain. So this is all zeros. Just a lot of fucking zeros. I wonder if there's like some form of like a run length encoding or something. Right. 2 and 1. Please redirect my standard error to my standard output, please. It really is just a bunch of zeros. Didn't I make the image full white? You know what? Now that you say that, that sounds very familiar, doesn't it? Save as. Yeah, that does sound very familiar now that you say it. Okay. Zeros and ones. Those are two colors. It looks like the zeros are... Well, let's see. Let's see if we get like anything sane out of this by just doing that like multiply by 1,000 thing. Okay. Okay, there's something in there. For sure. For sure. For sure. Can we actually save this as something else? As like a bitmap or something that just makes this like way fucking cleaner to work with? Like if we just save it as like a... I mean, we could also just change the pixel format, actually. Let's go back to a normal picture. Okay. Yep. And then we'll look at the format again. Receive frame with format RGBA. Which does look like it just has a lot of red in there, which is kind of confusing. Oh, no, that's alpha. Oh, okay, wait, hold on, okay. Now, when we load the texture, let's just use the right fucking parameters. So instead of it being GL red, this could be GL RGBA. Let's look at GL text image 2D. Because we can still just keep the same thing internally as red only, but we should be able to say that we want to keep this one as red. It's this one over here. The format we want to be GL RGBA. And then the type specifies the type of the pixel data. So I think that this is per pixel. Width and height are the width and height of the texture image in pixels, I'm going to assume. And then here, when we return, we're just going to multiply the height by 4 just to like hack this shit. Because then we'll have, I think that fixes it, I think. No, it doesn't, because we're going to, fuck. Data is height times 4 here. Uh-huh. And then down here, everything else stays the same. Line size is not the same. Whoa. Line size is not the same as the width. Stride is equal to stride. Hold on. We can get there. Plot stride is equal to this. And this is stride. And then we take the width and we use the stride here instead. And then we need to crop it down later, but that's okay. It's okay. I'm multiplying by 1,000. Oh, but just the brightness. I think that right now I'm more worried about like the pixels just being in all of the fucking wrong spots. So, stride is a use size here, and then here wherever 108, we need to intcast this. Still not great. Not great. Thoughts on Zig so far? I'm liking it. It's fun. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, don't mind it at all. It feels like it's not to knock it. It doesn't feel like special, but in like a good way, right? It's like when you write Rust, you have to make a lot of effort, right? To like pick up the language. Zig, it's like I booted it up and I was in there immediately, right? You've written C before. Zig's just C, but better. You hit all of the like the edge cases of C where when you write C you go like, oh, that's annoying. It just feels fixed to me. Like the undefined behavior handling is like very nice, because they still allow undefined behavior, but they check it when they can, which is just like I think a very good compromise. Better than Rust's. I feel like I didn't like defer over RAII. Oh, I hate using the word RAII. Defer over destructors. But I'm starting to come around. It lets you do some stuff that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise, which is kind of nice. But overall, yeah, pretty good. Fun to work with. Maybe width and height or flip. Let's try the square image. Resource acquisition is initialization. Dude, people say resource acquisition is initialization, and I swear that's not what they're fucking talking about every single time. Like, I feel like anytime somebody says it, they really just mean has destructors, right? Maybe that's just like my shitty interpretation of it. But I don't think that, like, I don't really care about the fact that when you construct something, it's initialized. I don't give a fuck about that. That doesn't matter. Like, do whatever you want. Like, you could have resource acquisition as initialization in C if you just write a function that's called open file and then returns a file, and that's the only way you can make it, right? Like, I don't get it. Maybe a square image. Maybe width and height are flipped. Could be. Let's look at GL text image 2D. Well, where else are we using width and height, actually? This... I mean addressing in the pixel buffer. Addressing in the pixel buffer. So you're saying the thing returned by ffmpeg might be flipped? There's no way, right? Well, what do we get for the image size? We get an image size of 532 by 474. And we can actually figure out if they provide us with the buffer size, then we could figure this out. We can figure it out. Because we have like the stride. Okay, what's going on here? For a video, a positive or negative value, which typically is indicating the size of the bytes of each picture line, but can also be negative byte size for lines for vertical flipping, a positive or negative multiple of the byte size for accessing even or odd fields of a frame. Video line size should be multiples of CPU's alignment preference. Line size is in bytes. And this should be line size here. Stride times height, not times 4. Could be a bug there. For sure that what we were doing before was wrong. ffmpeg returns width height and shader renders as height width. Just guessing. Oh, I see what you're saying. That's possible. I think it's more likely this first, though. So I want to fix this first. Because I forgot to just explain this. because I assume that everybody has worked with images before, which is not true. Typically, so what STBI image or STB image was returning was like, if this is my picture, it basically returns the bytes like sequentially like this. So every pixel, you just like walk one row and then you go to the next row, walk sideways. What ffmpeg is doing is it is trying to optimize for something else. And so what it's going to say is like, you have this image, but it's actually going to have all of this like fucking garbage ass shit over here. And so this is your image, but then he's like, hey, we want to make sure that we're like a multiple of something. So we're going to pad your image with like some shit over here. And so I just wanted to make sure that I'm handling that correctly. That's what the difference between stride and width is. Because it means that like as you jump down, like each row starts on like an efficient spot. Not to scale, definitely not to scale. Okay, let's try what you said, where you think that the image width and height are flipped. We should be able to check that by just swapping Y and X in our texture lookup. None of this is looking like what I want. What if... Okay, let's not draw a picture. Let's just draw a rectangle that takes up half of the screen. Ish. It doesn't really fucking matter. It just has to be close enough. Now, if we do this, now we can like start to infer about what the fuck it's doing wrong. So here, we can see that we're like kind of close in some way, right? It's definitely working its way vertically in the right direction. So that's a really good sign. Let's try horizontal. So we'll just do the same thing here. And we'll fill out the right side or something. Okay. That is like a really, really clear indication that we are not splitting on lines at the right position. So let's take a look at this. Oh, fuck me. Oh, what the fuck? Why does this still say width? This should say stride. Oh, but it should be stride over 4. Because the stride is in bytes, not in pixels. Boom, baby! Let's fucking go! So now I should be able to draw my little smiley face again. Let's fucking go, baby! Whoop whoop! Okay. Okay, so that's pretty sick. I know that it doesn't look like we made any progress between an hour 30 and now, so in the past hour. But this is using the ffmpeg API, which is a huge fucking win, right? Because now it means that the upgrade from here to video is very short, right? All we have to do is do all this shit that we were doing in a loop, make sure we're cleaning up memory and stuff, and doing like proper feeding of stuff into the right spots. But overall, like this is a much different problem than using STB image. So pretty fucking happy with that. Pretty happy. I'm at 2 hours and 40 minutes. I usually try to stop at 2 hours. Part of this project is to say that I don't have to stop at 2 hours. But so I think we have to call it there. We've been at this too long. My head is fucking dying. It's like my poor little brain. He's like, too much info, overload. Feed it a video just for laughs. I mean, we don't run multiple frames. Oh, but we could decode the first frame of a video. You're right. We should do that. Do I have any videos just kicking around? I have Big Buck Bunny kicking around. We downloaded it at the beginning. So we should be able to do like downloads big. Is there no Big Buck Bunny in here? Did we not download Big Buck Bunny? Did we save it here? Ah, yeah, we did. Who knows if the first frame of Big Buck Bunny is fade in? Either it's not fucking working, or it's working as expected. Yeah, it is just immediately black. So I've only seen it 1,000 times, but I don't know. I mean, we could try to clip it We could do ffmpeg. No, I'm not gonna. Fuck it. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. We'll get to this another day. So, yeah, good progress today though. Good progress today. If you like what you saw, I stream most days at around 2 o'clock Pacific time. It's 4:40 now, so 2.5 hours ago till around 4 is usually what we're shooting for. If you're new here, there's a GitHub link and a YouTube link in the Twitch description, and those link to code that goes up on this, as well as like YouTube with playlists broken down for previous projects. Previous projects, you're going to find stuff like operating system in Rust, neural network thing, like webcam viewer in Linux, what else? Git GUI, diff tool, QR code decoder, terminal emulator, game engine for our stream into screen. You know, whatever the fuck I feel like. Whatever we feel like, and that trends towards stuff that I don't need to write that exists already, but we do it anyways because it hopefully will help us like learn about what like make better guesses about the things we use. That's kind of the hope in my head. Really, it's just it tickles the monkeys in my brain that clap the little cymbals, and I just need an outlet for that. So that's why we're here. Yeah. So if you're watching on YouTube, there should be a Twitch link in the YouTube description, and swing by, say hi.